Happy Wednesday, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. Today, we're going to talk about the black cat theory, a concept which basically means that in a relationship, there should be a black cat and there should be a golden retriever to sort of achieve the optimum balance in the relationship. So this is something that's very popular on TikTok at the moment. I really like it as a concept because it's so clear. And
Yeah.
we're going to be talking through this a bit and how it can be sort of applied to reality. So
Yes,
let's get into it.
let's do it. So I also really like this concept. It also has to do with opposites attract. That someone who has one type of energy attracts a person with the opposite kind of energy, like a magnet, and you two work really well together, or you find a really good dynamic. And I think so the golden retriever energy is more about chasing. It's about being loyal, like you're the bubbly, energetic, devoted, like a golden retriever, literally like like a dog would be, just always happy, always happy to see you, always like very stable and like always committed. And then you have the cat, and you know what cats are like? They can be a little bit like they have their own like boundaries with things, like what they like, what they don't like. This is what they need, basically. They're not afraid to be inconvenient. I think that's also like the typical cat energy. And I think this is a really interesting energy, and also just the concept of like having a man that is a golden retriever and like the benefits of that. And as a woman, why we like men that are the golden retriever. Like we want to be chased. And I think that is a really important part of this concept. Like women likes to be chased. We like to feel wanted. We want to be the prize. We don't want to feel like we're reaching for someone or trying to get someone that is like out of our reach. It doesn't like make us feel good. And I think it makes us feel a little bit more worried and like stressed in a way, not knowing if we have that person or what that person feels about us, or like if they're distant, or yeah. So I think it's a really interesting concept to talk about. But also in dating, like with you, for example, when you met your now fiance 6 years ago, crazy.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Yeah, no, I'd love to hear what your experience was with that when you met.
Yeah, so when we met, this concept wasn't a thing. A lot of self-development was not, where it is today. So I feel like I didn't have as much insights into things like this. But I was definitely the golden retriever when we met. I was chasing him. He was a little bit of the black cat. And I think he sort of liked it. He liked that I was maybe a little bit more interested in him than he was in me at first, or at least he was, pretending to not be as interested. I know now that he was, but he sort of kind of liked that. He was getting a lot of, attention and confirmation like from that situation. And like what happened was that I really was a golden retriever, and didn't have these concepts back then, but I was really chasing him and was really trying to make something happen, like make a relationship out of whatever it was that we had, this connection. And one day I was just like, no, I surrender, I give up. Like, if he wants this to happen, like he's gonna have to chase me. And it wasn't like he was super avoidant or anything, but it's just I felt like I was making all the effort. And
Yeah.
I just stepped back and just felt like, oh, he's gonna have to make an effort if he wants this to happen. And I feel like we really switched the dynamic then. So I became the black cat and he became the golden retriever. He started chasing. And since then, that's been a much better dynamic.
Yeah.
And
So you know both. That's
yeah,
good.
I know both. I've been both, definitely.
Yeah.
And yeah, definitely recommend being the black cat over being the golden retriever. And I think for women in general, like that's what we want to be, unless we have a lot of unhealed trauma and stuff, which makes us feel
Yeah.
like we want to chase and we want to have a man that's like avoidant and doesn't
Mm.
reply to our text messages, and makes us feel stressed and like we're always reaching for something.
Yeah, I think that has to do with like dopamine in our bodies.
Yeah.
Like we get triggered by it, and we try to like also try to fix them. We're
Mm,
chasing them, and we're gonna heal
yes.
them or like heal. Yeah, yeah, I agree.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think that that is the optimum dynamic. Like you should be a little bit out of reach, and also in your relationship in general, like even when after a few years, like you should feel like you're being chased, like he's making an effort to be with you,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
that you expect that from him. And I think that's
Yeah.
just so important.
Mm,
Natalie,
I agree.
give us the
Yeah.
background story of you and Victor.
Yeah.
I think that was
So
quite different.
yes, it was quite different. So we met. It's now 1.5 years ago. It was last spring. We met on Love is Blind, the TV show, and we had a very different experience with dating. We were dating in pods. We had 2 rooms and then a wall in between us, so we couldn't see each other. But I really think this concept really applied even that in that dating scenario, even if it was very intense, because you can really feel someone's energy, and also with like what they're saying and how they're saying things. So I really do think, like, I feel it's so unfortunate that people that watched the show didn't see that much of our dating, and especially in the pods, because there were so many things that happened that they didn't include. And Victor was so persistent, and he so everyone dates everyone. There are like 15 girls and 15 boys. And then you date fewer and fewer people. But Victor, he kind of knew. I think it was like our third date or something. He was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure like this is the only one I want to date even. So he would cancel dates or like end dates with girls, because he was like, well, this is a waste of time. I know who I want. So like I'm very like I know what I want. So he ended all of his dates except me very, very quickly. And then he just sat and told me, he was like, I've ended every single date I have except you, and you are the only one left. You're the only one that I want. I want you to choose me. And he was so like, I don't know, he was so, it wasn't like you need to choose me. He was so like I don't know, unbothered about it. And he even
Mm.
said, like, when he was in the lounge area in between dates, they have a lounge area where the guys hang out. And a lot of the guys would feel very anxious. They were super stressed, like, oh, who am I gonna pick? And like, oh, really struggling. And I think Victor understand, like, me being very clear on myself, and like I was, because I think I've always been a black cat, and I feel like I've always like, yeah, liked my own space, being like I feel like I've always pretty much always been kind of a black cat, and I think just his energy became chasing me, and I think some of the girls were really, really chasing the guys, and
Mm.
I think that's maybe what made the guys so confused, because they're like, well, oh, they both want me, and like a lot of guys said that, like, oh, they both want me. Who am I going to choose? And I don't think that's a good energy for men to be in. And they were like stressed out about that. So it's like funny. And all the girls were also stressed because they were like, oh, I hope he picks me. And it's like, I just never felt like we were competing, because we're all different humans. Like, if he prefers someone else, that's fine. Like,
Mm.
I'll be fine. Like, then it wasn't meant to be. So I think just having that mindset of like, I'm special in my way, and having, I think the black cat energy is pretty much tied to like independence and also self-worth.
Mm.
So I do think he sensed that, and he wasn't gonna like wait around, and he knew I wasn't coming. Like, I wasn't gonna be like, well, let's get together. So that is why he ended all those dates. He even asked me to be his girlfriend before he proposed. Like, he was really, really chasing me. And you don't see that on the show. Like, it's like so short that and brief what they show, but that's what happened. So I had a very like very typical black cat golden retriever like scenario in the pods, which I think was really interesting. And yeah, I think if you start off like that, that kind of becomes the norm in the relationship. um and yeah, so I think, but also you can clearly switch. So that is also good to know if you feel like you are the golden retriever in your
Yes,
relationship or if you're dating someone. But I really do think that women are happier in the being the black cat rather than the retriever.
definitely. And they like to chase. Like men like to
Yeah.
chase, we like to be
Yes.
chased.
Yeah.
So I really think that is the best situation. Also, I feel like with you in the pods, for example, just being okay with someone not choosing you because you want them to
Yeah.
choose you, not because you force them into something or not
Yeah.
because you know, were controlling enough that you could get them to be in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
That's not really a good way to start. And it's
No.
also like, no, it's not a good dynamic to have. But
No.
I think it's also really important that you can change this. Like if you are in a relationship
Yeah.
or a marriage, you can change it.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, don't break up with your boyfriend because you are currently the golden retriever. Because you think you need a new
Exactly.
dynamic. Like you can change this 100%.
Yeah.
And I think the first step is just to be aware of it,
Yeah.
of the dynamic and like how maybe if you are currently, you feel like you're the one chasing, it's not really serving you. Also, I think it's just important to not get too stuck in the like cat versus golden retriever, you know, roles, because it
Yeah.
can be so different. Like every relationship is different. Every person is different individually. Like you can be a very firm, strong, decisive man, but you can still be the golden retriever, for example.
Mm.
Like you
Yeah.
can be a very soft, happy, bubbly woman and you can still
Mm.
be the black cat. But
Yeah.
I think it's just this chase dynamic. I feel like we keep coming
Mm.
back to that. Like it's this chase thing. Like who is chasing who? And it
Yeah.
always has to be someone chasing the other person a little bit more. And it
Yeah.
should be that
Exactly.
subtle dynamic of the man is chasing the woman. That's what makes
Yes.
us happiest, I think, in almost all cases. Not for everyone, of course,
Yeah.
absolutely, but
Mm.
almost all the time.
Exactly. And I also feel exactly because I'm a very bubbly, happy person. I'm very
Same.
affectionate, like physical touch is my love language and affirmations. But I think it's also that I'm not afraid of um, being inconvenienced or needing space. I'm not afraid of like living my own life, keeping myself busy, like a little bit of a cat. Like I come and I go, but I'm very affectionate. It's not like I'm doing it in a cold, distant way, like a cat can be. I'm very, very affectionate, but it's just like, yeah, it's a chase dynamic,
Mm.
um,
Yeah, it's a
which
dynamic
we have.
between you. Like not
Yeah.
that the one person has to be like this and one person has to be like that. It's like
Mm,
the dynamic between the two of you.
yes.
I think this also ties in with like not being afraid to lose them, like not holding
Yeah.
them really tight, you know, but just
Mm,
knowing that you're your own person, you know what you're worth, you know that it's a privilege for someone to be a part of your life in that way. So I think it
yeah.
also ties back to that, like having really, you know, valuing yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, I really agree. And I think also, um, I think if you chase someone, it can come off as a little bit desperate sometimes.
Mm.
And also it can feel a little bit like, yeah, you need to give him space. And if there's no space, then he won't see the value in you. He won't really miss you because you're always there. I think it's like, yeah, I think it's really good to embody that energy of like, I'm like a cat, and it doesn't have to be yeah, you don't have to be a cat all the time or like constantly. Like you say, you switch a little bit. But overall, I think it's really good when you feel like he is chasing you.
Yeah. And he's making more of an effort than you are,
Yeah,
basically, in the
exactly.
relationship.
Yeah. And I also think like don't try to make it even. Like it doesn't have to be even all the time.
Mm.
I know that I have a friend who was dating someone and he would give her gifts. And whenever he gave her a gift, she always had to give him a gift back. Like it was like a mental thing for her. Like she would always give him a gift back. And it's like you don't have to it doesn't have to be equal constantly and it shouldn't be. And like I don't know, it's kind of like I don't know. I just don't feel that way. Like, we give in different ways, and I don't have to make it equal. I don't owe him anything. If he wants to give me things, that's really nice, and I'll be very appreciative. But it's not like, if we're both trying to be on the exact same level all the time, it kind of doesn't really create this romantic dynamic. Yeah. So I just think that also good to keep in mind. Like, you don't owe him to give all of it back. He's chasing you. Like, you are the prize.
Yeah, and he's happy to give. Or he should be,
Yeah.
at least. Otherwise, I feel like you're sort of
Yeah.
with the wrong person. But it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be 50-50. Things don't have to be
Mm.
50-50 in general. And I think that's a really good example, because I think in the society in general, where everything
Mm.
has to be equal, and it's great in some sense, but I
Yeah.
think in a relationship kind of sense, there has to be a little bit of a different dynamic, or has to be, but that's the ideal situation, I think. And
Yeah.
that's something I actually haven't reflected on. But for example, when Tariq goes away on a
Mm.
trip, any trip, he always brings me back a present. And it's
Yeah.
usually like a really nice present. Like he brought me,
Mm.
yeah, he's brought me like Dior earrings, just for going away on a little trip. And I never get him anything. Like when I go away,
Yeah.
like never. And I haven't, like, it's things like that
And
I
it's
haven't
not
really
like
thought
he's
about.
like, "Where's my gift?"
Exactly. Where's my present? No, and he never, I never get him anything, but he gets me
Mm.
something every time, like
Yeah.
always. So I'm sort of like expecting that now, that anytime he goes away, like he gets me a
Yeah.
gift, but he doesn't have that expectation. He's just
Mm.
happy to have me home.
Yeah.
No, but I think, and I think that's like the kind of thing, like should be a little bit more effort. I'm not
Mm.
sure saying it has to be, material things, absolutely not,
No,
but it
no.
should be just this little
Effort.
more effort
Yeah.
from the golden retriever side. So to summarize, you can always go from the golden retriever to the black cat, and it's just a really good way to think of dynamics in a relationship. It will make both of you happy to have that dynamic in the relationship.
Exactly. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of The Love Club, and we will see you in our next episode.